Right, you lot. Now, every single year I do this video, and every year it gets longer. It's the age-old ranking all of my songs, where I become massively arrogant, and then also really critical at the same time, usually just putting down my own work. It's a pretty great system. Now, if you don't know how this does, so I've got every single song on all of the 5 Broadburn albums, well, technically 4 albums plus an EP, but 5 has a better ring to it, don't it? I've got them in alphabetical order, and I'm going to go through all of them and place them onto these tiers. They kind of speak for themselves. We've got best work. Well, that's the best thing I've made, or, in that category. Proud of this, yeah, I'm proud of it. But it's not quite that top tier. Happy with it. It's like, yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with it, but I wouldn't say this is something I'm really proud of. Skip is like, yeah, I don't really feel much about it either way. Like, it's nothing to me. You could argue that's worse than the next tier, which is awful, terrible on almost every level, little redeemable about it. Just delete it, really. I try to look at these less as, the actual songs that were released, but look at them like the writing, the actual instrumental and production of the song. And, if I had the full potential and if I re-recorded the song now with some of the older ones, would it stack up? Would it still be a black sheep? And that's what I'm kind of looking at. Because if I was doing it based off what was actually released, none of Sega Progress or Made It Out Live would get out the awful tier. Maybe 1 or 2 skips, actually. But that'd be the best. So yeah, I've done them in alphabetical order because, well, it'd be really boring to go in order of album, wouldn't it? So let's start with Always Been You. Bad start. Always Been You. Like, okay, it's got this kind of sweet, nice notion to it, talk about family and all that stuff. But unfortunately, there's too many words in the song. It's way too generic, and I just don't like the whole vibe of the track, really. Almost Fallen. Well, that can also go in there. Yeah, Almost Fallen. It shows the current, like, a flaw with Made It Out Live, where it's like trying to describe a feeling without showing the feeling. So it's very much tell not show, a lot of Made It Out Live. And also, I can't really understand what I'm really talking about. The storytelling's atrocious and Almost Fallen, and the instrumental is very much preset-y, very beginner for Nikki in terms of most of the stuff he'd go on to do. So unfortunately, it's awful. Okay, Alien. I'm going to say proud of this. Alien is a pretty standard pop punk track, very early 2000s, very safe, but in a good way. I love the final bit. I think it's well written, it gets its point across. But I wouldn't say it's one of the best things I've ever made. Okay, Ash. Skip for me with Ash. Sorry. As an opener, it's very interesting. I was trying to be a bit more bulky, a bit more like, ancient. And I just don't really think that kind of style worked. It was a weird whiplash opening, and vocally, especially in the final third, I was way too ambitious with this song as well. And I think the concept was better than what it actually is, so that's why it for me. Bicycle, I think, is best work for me. This is kind of my baby of the track because it's the only one that I've actually mixed ever. So that says something. And yeah, I like a lot of layering. I think it tells the story really well. It's a great kind of upbeat kind of pop. I'm just a big fan of it, and it's gone off my estimations. I think I had it in Happy with it last year, but no, it's gone up for me. Bandage is always going to be best work in terms of like, okay, the vocal performance is terrible, but the structure of the song, the metaphor, the storytelling, I just think this was kind of the song that changed everything for me and showed me this is the avenue to write songs and this is how you do it. Don't do what I was doing previously. And I think Bandage was a big deal breaker for that. And I'd love to remaster it one day. Best Man, I'm going to say proud of it. It's got a lot of layers to it lyrically. Best Man. It's a really nice kind of chilled R&B instrumental. I kind of like the whole vibe. It's got almost like the mysterious, like melancholy feel to it. It's I really like that we were able to incorporate. And as a whole, I just think Best Man is decent. Original Bandage, yeah, I guess it's kind of the same. I forgot there were 2 bandages. This is the bandage from on the YouTube channel where I didn't use any keyed instrumental, but I think, yeah, similar story to the other one. Blur Realities, I'm gonna say happy with it. I think Blur Realities is the one Made Out Alive song which I find kind of interesting. The delivery, kind of the style, the subject matter, everything about it, kind of that alarm sounding instrumental. It's pretty cool, the whole thing. And if I did it today, I think there's a lot more I could do with Blur Realities. So compared to other songs Made Out Alive, hopeless. Be Stronger rewrote is awful. The problem with this is that, again, the Be Strong instrumental is very basic, like a preset. It's a song that's like talk about suicide and stuff, but in the worst way. It's just really poorly written. Nothing about the flow of it saves it. I don't think I could save this song. The hook is weak. Like there's nothing about Be Stronger rewrote which has any merit. And same thing with the original Be Stronger, obviously, which I mean should never saw the light of day and is no longer on YouTube for very good reasons. Blame Game, I'm gonna say happy with it. This is Reese's favourite Broadband song, at least pre Lost Nostalgia, because he likes the way we did it vocally. And I just think because it's a more like political song, it's a more generic song because it's not as personal to me. I maybe don't have that affiliation with it. But it's kind of like Alien, but I think it's not as strong as Alien. It's got kind of this nice pop punk vibe. The solo that Key does near the end is pretty cool. I'm happy with it, but I think it's kind of just a filler track and for him thoughts, to be totally honest. Other Box is a skip for me. I'm not quite going to put it in awful because there's an energy to it. When the interpolation in the chorus is Big Fist, Little Fist, Cardboard Box from Bob the Builder, that's kind of one of the key flaws going on there. I just think you know, there's seeds and stuff there. Like, okay, I'm doing a track, I'm kind of bigging stuff up, personality wise, it's not as negative, but it goes on way too long. Instrumental, well, it's fun. I think the kiddie did well with it. I don't think the lyrics really work, and the whole package just isn't as strong. And it pisses me off that people talk about this one and they talk about some of the songs, and everyone. There's some people who are like, "Oh, you should rap more." I shouldn't rap more. It's so much worse when I do stuff like that. So, yeah, but it is a skip. Counting Sheep, I'm gonna say proud of it. Cool. The song with the big Ruth feature. It was a weird one, Counting Sheep, because I kind of just said, "Oh, Ruth, make me something." And we'll just kind of work off it. And we didn't have a title. I didn't have any idea what I was doing. I just wrote a bunch of lyrics, which didn't really have a lot to do with each other. We put something together. So the process was quite fun with it. And I think it sounds really cool. I think a lot of the effects we did were pretty cool. And yeah, as a whole, I'm proud of Counting Sheep. Changes is a skip as well. Changes I've like defended for a long time, but it's so dramatic. It's so dramatic. Like, and it's not even the fact that like what the subject matter, what I was talking about. Like I was talking about 1 week. And okay, in that period of time, I thought my life was like ending before my eyes, and then very quickly it, like aged really poorly. The whole thing, but just the final minute is just like me basically freestyling the same few lines over and again. It's pretty weak. There's too many syllables in the song and the verses. It's just. I'm talking about like legacies that like forcing fuck off. Start talking about people thinking about what you want about, mate. Okay, Change the Tide is gonna be a skip for me. Change the Tide is way too like arrogant and stuff. I just don't like doing that. I'm a very nuanced person in life. I think I don't see things black and white, which is bizarre. I like to understand people's motivations and the reasons that people make decisions, what they think is right, even though it seems so bizarre. And with Change the Tide, it just comes off a bit like revenge, really. It's fun, the instrumental, and that's the only thing really saving it. But I can't listen to this anymore. Finding Thriving is awful, because it's a lie. The lyrics are the biggest cope of all time. I thought I need a climactic finish to progress through your progress, but it didn't need to be made. I didn't need to bring out that almost fallen instrumental of all things. Yeah. Waste of time. Dear After, best work. I mean, it's got to be, hasn't it? I'm going to have to show bias to the new album. I do it every year when I do the. Dear After is. It took us 3.5 months to make. It's got like 4 sections to it. I think lyrically it's probably the best song I've ever written in terms of how introspective and how deep and how personal it gets at points. I'm really happy with Dear After as a program, and it had to be as good as it is. And yeah, I think. Is it going to be the most replayable song? No, but I don't care. It's going in best work. Ilias, proud of it. This was one where I took an old instrumental and I wrote this song at like 3 in the morning. And yeah, it's a bit cheesy, but it's kind of got like a childish, like romantic, like style to it. You know, it's just fun. It's just a freeing track, and I like it quite a lot. Find Your Way is gonna be awful. I do a rap verse where I'm trying to be 2014 Eminem or NF, which is not a good thing to be. Um, the Lakini bit is got nothing to do with what I'm doing, and the fact that I start ad libbing over the Laki's verse, I think it's just disrespectful. All the lore around Find Your Way as well, how long it took to be made, everything about it, I just want to delete the existence of Find Your Way, really. Fractured, I'm happy with it, but I think it should be proud of it, and I just can't say I'm proud of it. Fractured, I think, as a song, lyrically, is one of my strongest, but my delivery on this song is so weak. I don't have that push to really. I don't think the emotion's really there in the performance, but it's a pretty cool one from Nakini. It's a more pop punk vibe, and I wish Fractured was better, which is why I'm in it and happy with it. Force of Feeling is a skip for me, and I do not care what people say because I think it's really cheesy. I think I'm stating the obvious way too much. It's a rap. I just don't like rap. I think the chorus is one of the weakest as well. When we made the song, we had some difficulties behind the scenes, so I think the environment when we made it also counts onto it. Ruth has backing vocals on this track, but they barely have any presence. The whole thing of Force of Feeling is just a bit of a mess there, and people point this song out to me as one of their favourites every time, and I just don't see it. Same with Blame Game, so maybe I'm just deaf. I was wrong. You know what? I'm happy with it. This was the first song we made for 4am Thoughts. So you could definitely tell there's some smoothing it needed to be doing. I think the final minute of the song is really cool. I kind of like the effect and the way we use the auto tune on this track. I think it's decently written. Yeah, I'm happy with it. Fine. Find a Way Part 2 is awful. Again, why did you bring it back? That's what I'm gonna say. No, I'm gonna put it in skip because it was an improvement. I saw what I was trying to do. And I think there's some interesting lyrics there, but there's also some ones that are just terrible. Go Away is also going in awful, by the way. Go Away is a song about death with an upbeat instrumental, which is a preset you find on GarageBand when you download it. So it's the laziest instrumental Nicky's ever done because he literally found it in 10 seconds. And it's also the laziest writing I've ever done because like, how can I take on a topic like death and use this instrumental? And it's like 6 minutes long. This might be the worst song in my whole discography. Well, there's a few we'll get to, but Go On is a skip. This is a song I wrote when I was 9 that I brought back. Progress Take a Progress. That tells you all it is. It's okay. Like lyrically, it's got an okay in this instrumental. Everything about it's just okay. Minus, of course, the performance on the song, but we're not taking that into consideration with the first 3 hours. Give them a fighting chance. Golden Years. You know what? I'm happy with it. I think as a song, it's pretty well done, pretty catchy, pretty memorable. I think. I like the message. It's got kind of a nice kind of feel good message. I think a lot of people could take stuff from. It was a bit generic, but as a lead single for what I was trying to do with it, I think I'm happy with it. Hamster Wheel, I'm also happy with it. This would have been a skip, the original Hamster Wheel, but the way we reworked it, I think is really interesting. The kind of experimental ways we use my voice and use the vocals and the whole theming of kind of this like isolation and being an introvert anthem. There's just a lot to like. Heartbreaking is awful. I don't like a lot of my vocal interventions here. I've always, it's always sat wrong to me because I quite like the instrumental, and that does make me want to leave it. But there's just heartbreaking just annoys me, man. How yeah, happy with it. I'm just gonna put it middle tier because that was of course an instrumental only track, which Reese has done. So it's almost not in my song, so I don't even know. But for what it is, it does the job exactly. It's meant to be ongoing. It's meant to be convey a certain feeling as like that shock and denial, which it does. So it succeeded. Hero Complex is my best work. We were so gassed at creating this song. Um, the hook is great. The lyrics are very like forthcoming. It's one where I actually take out Bernstein for myself. Just the whole production, the solo at the end, is one of my favourites on Lost Nostalgia, and there's a reason I chose it for the second single. If I Have You, It's a bit cringe, but you know what? I'm happy with it. I like the vibe. I think one of the key did was pretty cool. It's a bit show off. It's like a Ray song. I didn't quite deliver everything, and it could have been better. And there are some really embarrassing lyrics on this one, but you know what? I'm happy with it. Keep Smiling, I'm gonna put in my best work. I've remastered Keep Smiling, and I might release that one day. I think it's one of my most complex written songs. I think it's one of the Keely's best. Just this kind of simple guitar and kind of almost medieval like folk feel. I just really like the whole arrangement. It's the one that I always wish I did better, and it's one that we have been remastering and remaking. So I'm very excited. Long Aston, happy with it, fine. Um, like Long Aston is as I open it, it says what it is on the tin. It doesn't quite have the personality. I was gonna have a Mel on this song, that didn't quite work out. So it kind of lost its main game, but I like it enough for what it is, and it's still on YouTube. I like the video I did for it. Um, Lying to myself, I'm gonna say proud of this, and I'm not lying to myself with that one. Um, I think the second half of the song is very raw, and the key did a good job. I did this one live, of course, what Lee sent me, so I've got that memory of doing that creation. Um, I feel like with Lying to Myself, the only thing is that I think the first half starts so well vocally, and I really go off the edge. And I think this is one I could improve if I change the arrangement up a bit. And lyrically, it's one of my most honest, brutally honest songs. It kind of walks a Dear Astro could run though as a track. Not enough. I'm gonna say proud of it. You know, not enough is just very straightforward in its lyrics and its arrangement. But I think it stood the test of time as a song, as a ballad. Of course, this was the one I did in front of like 300 people. So the most people that have heard one of my songs have heard this one. I wish I'd had the singing chops. I've tried to improve over the years. I think I've come a long way from then. And yeah. Not again. You know what? I'm proud of this one as well. This is a good run here. Not again. It's an upbeat pop song. I think we had a lot of fun. We did loads of crazy stuff in the mix of this one, which really stand out. And it's just a pretty great track. And I think is a way better version of Force the Feeling. I think you get everything from this track Fourth Team was trying to do, and it's just Fourth Team is such a B side to this, in my opinion. New Frontier is a skip. It's really boring. The instrumental is like this old folk thing, but I don't have the emotion or the lyrics to really connect to that, so it just feels a bit hollow, the whole thing, unfortunately. The Number Crunch is also a skip. The Number Crunch was a song about leaving school and like the excitement for that, so that only worked for about 2 weeks. It was okay, but it's just such a whatever piece of music. Neverland is also a skip. It's my least favourite and foreign thoughts because I just think we messed up this track. Like it doesn't feel very on beat at point. I would have moved certain bits around and changed it up. I just the whole package of Neverland. And lyrically, it's a bit like okay, it's doing I was wrong again. I think you could have made this album Foreign Thoughts like 10 tracks. You could have cut Neverland. You could have cut Force the Feeling. Maybe you could have cut one or two others, which we might get to. Old Cellmates is my best work. I think it's Lakadi's best work in terms of instrumentally. This I said, you know, when we're going out of the bang, give me this 6 minute ambient track, give you all into this. He really did that and then some. I think it's got a great pace to it. The track. I think the lyrics really speak well. Yeah, I think it is one of my stronger. Persona, I will always be proud of Persona. I just really like the kind of pop instrumental. I like the final third, what I did with it. There's some cheesy lines because a lot of it is like just taking the piss out of people who really aren't much better than myself. I think, you know, I mean, aren't much worth, you know, like there's a lot of hip hop sins, a bit of like cringeness. It's like, really, I don't really do drop songs where I'm just taking the piss at people now. I like to be a bit more nuanced. That element of Persona would move it away from my best work, but I like the whole arrangement of Persona, and it's what I'd love to redo. Maybe even rewrite. Reverse is awful. It's like Bandage, the sequel. something people try and recreate, like something they did really well, and it never works the second time. Reverse is just really weirdly written as well. Like there's parts where I'm talking like, oh, there was like damage, there was grief, there was pain, but I was still happy at the end of the day. Like, how were you still happy? It was a weird testimony in my weird mind at the time I wrote it, and it's a fascinating case study, but it's an atrocious song. So yeah, Replicate is a skip. I've done a lot of these songs. It's like talk about the future and like talk about having family and stuff. But, what you on about? Okay, there's fears, but like, what the fuck? Scared to Love Again, I'm happy with it. I think this one would lend itself to the modern style of the kind of vocal layer and the auto-tune, the production choices we've gone with Reese, more than any other song in the first three albums. So it's one I'd like to look at again. But it's not the most incredible, you know, like composition or written. It's pretty cool what Akili did, but it's far from his best work. And I think it's very much like a footnote after Not Enough. It's like, okay, we need a transition track. It almost feels like an interlude into, okay, we need to move away from the love stuff and talk about other stuff now. Gets into the closet, I'm proud of it. We put a lot of distortion on this track. I think it's got an attitude. I think we deliver on it. I think it's well written. It rides the line between being corny and just being me in the best way. I think I'm quite happy with Gets in the closet. Slow Motion is a skip. Just weird. I think the lyrics only go in one direction. There's not much evolution. You know, it was just a weird black sleeve for the song, which did not fit on Pro Figure Pro. What? Okay, Spiraling, I'm going in my best work. Reese kind of did this one with me quite quick, and it just, I think the attitude's fantastic, the range, what he was able to do with my vocals on the track, which I know we're not talking about too much, but yeah, I think I'm happy with it. September, I'm gonna go happy with it. I think it's a pretty decent opener. I think it tells the thesis of the album. It's decently written. I think the certain elements, you know, production wise, which are pretty cool. I think the chorus isn't the strongest I've done. I was struggling with writing a chorus for the song for a long time. That maybe holds it back, but I do like September. Shadow Man, I'm also going to say happy with it. I think Shadow Man is one of the more complex songs. I'm talking about, of course, like a family relationship and all that stuff. I liked writing from someone else's perspective. But then I make it onto myself, like, I'll be a better man than Shadow Man. What are you on about, mate? When were you brought in? But yeah, I think Shadow Man had some potential, so I'm going to say happy with it. This Is Me is the worst thing I've ever made, and it's not even close. The worst kind of storytelling, the worst flow, the worst lyricism. The instrumental's really boring. Sorry, Dakini. It's just, I don't like This Is Me, and I never have. Even when I made This Is Me, I was like, I'm not sure about this one. Maybe I shouldn't have put it out, mate. Talk, proud of it, because I think it can't be in the same tier with Dear After. It's very much in the Best Man. Like, the blueprint for Talk was what we did with Best Man, but this one's a bit more somber, a bit more emotional. And yeah, I think it's just good all around. Last Summer, I'm also proud of it. I think vocally, this might be my best performance on any song. It's a very simple interlude, but it's exactly what it needs to be. We went for a simple piano ballad, and you know, for what it is, I'm very proud of it. The Nightmare Neighbor, happy with it. You know, I had fun with this idea, doing something more grunge, like more punk. It was cool. Nikita had fun with it. People got a laugh because it was more parody and less serious. All kind of, you know, taking the mick out of a dodgy person. We had great, so like that was all it was. Too Easy. So annoying. I'm gonna say happy with it. Too Easy is another song that's aged really poorly, and it's like, you know, when you're just like kind of degrading someone. But then, like, the issue was actually just you. Like, you want this it to mean more. It's just, I'm just a bit pathetic in this song. But if we're talking as a song, the first half is brilliant and one of the probably the best thing on Foreign Vaults. The second half is one of the worst things on Foreign Vaults. So I've got to put it in the middle tier, I think, because I just think I go with the top vocal. I don't like the bridge before the final chord. But the first half is pretty cool, so I'm gonna go happy with it. Undecided is awful. Let's just get it in there. whole attitude, the whole way I go about it is like it's meant to be coming out and it's done in the worst way possible. The vocal performance is atrocious. Even though we're not talking about that, but I just want to point out it might be the worst performance of any of the first three albums. And I did not know what I was doing with Undecided. We re-recorded it twice. It's a farce. U-Turn has got to be best work. College, this is my most known track. Which I don't know how I felt about that, but yeah, U-Turn. I wasn't taking myself too seriously. The beat is like this pretty clunky garage thing, but I'm going for this type of beat. I think the flow is decent. I think, lyrically it's tongue in cheek. Do I agree with everything I've said? No, but I stand by a fair bit of it as well. So, it's time counts. The ways we've written is a skip. What was the point? It's just the worst version of Bandage. The New You, I'm also going to go with a skip. I felt like, I always do a ballad, don't I? So we're going to do a ballad. Nah, The New You is just like a bit stating the obvious. Like, yeah, we know. I don't like it lyrically. I think it's okay as an instrumental, but I don't think it's nowhere near not enough. It's just the fact this one was on 4M4. The original Waves is obviously going to be an awful. I've talked to death about how bad it was. I've reacted to it on this channel, I'm pretty sure. But too many words. The key is the best part. The instrumental doesn't. The vocal performance, the hook is terrible as a song. Yeah, I'm not really saying a lot. I'm saying the same points, but in 100 different ways. Yeah, Wasted Potential was a skip. One of the lines on this song, if they call me brain, I'm really clueless. Really, I'm clueless. So that just says it all. It's just not great. It's fun, but there could have been something there, but it's just, you don't see it. Warn You, I have a weird relationship with Warn You. I'm going to say proud of it. There was a time I put it in my best work. It's not in my best work. It was definitely my best song, the first two albums. But the reason I don't put it in my best work is because I think some of the lyrics I don't like anymore. Because I think I oversell the impact I could have had on a situation. Make myself bigger than I am. And also I think the third verse is just got some weird clunky lines. I think it's kind of too easy. The first half is a lot better. But that hook is really good. It's got its saving elements, and I'd like to redo Warn You maybe one day, but yeah, Waiting for My Mistletoe is a skip. It was a Christmas song. It's on an album released in June, and yeah, it's fine, but no, don't bother. White Rabbit and the Red Queen. I'm gonna say proud of it. People are gonna have mixed opinion about White Rabbit and the Red Queen, but where did it go? Oh, there it is. Okay, there you go. Name game, swap with it. Okay, White Rabbit and the Red Queen. It's a decent composition. We had a lot of fun. It was very 1975 influence, which the key did really well. But there's some, the vocal performance isn't perfect. Lyrics are pretty cool. And I like how I did a song, but I was not the part. So. You Missed It All was my best work. Just the effects we did. So much crazy shit going on. And it's a pretty deep song. I don't think, maybe it might be the weakest lyrically, but I think it might be my strongest song as a song to this day. So 4am, I'm going to go proud of it. I think 4am is a decent thesis. The final minute of the song is really strong, and the first two after decent. It gets his point across, and I think it was a pretty cool experience. 2 feet is awful. What was the thinking? What was the thinking with 2 feet? It's just that's not the attitude you want when you talk about how you almost killed yourself. No, you don't. You don't want 2 feet as us. Anyway, I'm gonna be doing some other videos. Me and Reef actually did a video which I'm gonna be putting on this channel soon. I'm gonna do another tier list, which is gonna be all of our lots. Went to VA. We're not there anymore. It's been like 2 years, but all of our lots albums I'm gonna do as a tier list soon. So yeah, I'm gonna see you lot soon. Goodbye.